Hello and welcome back to the recap. Today we stop a series of bioweapon attacks in the pursuit of a dangerous international terrorist, so strap in and let's dive into this remarkable 1999 stealth action shooter. Before we begin, I want to point out that although undeniably a groundbreaking game, Syphon Filter often gets a bad rap for its voice acting and plot construction. But I think that's BS. The cheesy fast-paced line reading gives the characters a perfect sense of urgency that corresponds with their objectives and the whole over-the-top vibe of the game. As for the story, while there are some minor plot holes, you can easily get the whole picture by reading the briefings on the loading screens in between levels. Could it have been a better story overall? Of course, but I believe it's exactly what it needs to be for a 90s action spectacle. So, allow me to explain what actually happens in Syphon Filter. Let's get started. In Syphon Filter, you assume the role of Gabe Logan, a special operative of a mysterious US government organization known only as the Agency. The game begins with you and your partner, Lian Xing, being sent to investigate a series of viral outbreaks caused by a yet unknown pathogen. Things get complicated when a fellow agent named Alice, who pursued and infiltrated a terrorist organization called the Black Baton, gets exposed as an informant. The Black Baton is an international terrorist group established in the early 90s with the purpose of usurping money, power, and authority. It is well known for its ruthless attacks all over the world and is led by a man of German origin with a thick resume by the name of Rhoemer. Your mission now is to get to the plantation in Guasimo, Costa Rica and rescue Alice from these non-compromising villains. As you arrive, Rhoemer is preparing to torch all evidence of their activities and leave. This means Alice has to go as well. Rhoemer orders his munitions expert and fire enthusiast by the name of Anton Girdot to torch the whole plantation while assigning his henchman Mara Aramov to execute Alice. You're so close at this point that you actually hear the fatal gunshot, and arrive only to find Alice on his way to the afterlife, along with the whole area going up in flames, which leaves you only guessing what they were cultivating here. With not much to go on, you return to your headquarters in Washington, D.C. to discuss your next move with the agency director, Thomas Markinson. Markinson orders his deputy Edward Benton to put together additional teams to find Rhoemer and then asks a mysterious shadowy figure for guidance. This mystery man tells Markinson to wait and see what you are able to uncover before allocating further resources. Sometime after, you and Lian are sent to Khumbu in Nepal to investigate another outbreak and confirm that the pathogen killed everyone within a 100-mile radius of the village. Everyone but one person, which shouldn't be possible. Remember this as it will be important later. Back home, it is confirmed that Rhoemer launched a new attack on Washington, D.C., hiding viral bombs that contain the same virus you and Lian have been investigating around the city. You are given the mission to help the U.S. Army Chemical and Biological Defense Command, or CBDC in short, contain this viral threat and intercept and eliminate Rhoemer in doing so. Rhoemer has his top people on this task, which are Mara Aramov and Anton Girdot, who we had the pleasure of meeting back in Costa Rica. Upon your arrival to Georgia Street, you are met with a bloodshed. The CBDC had been ambushed by the Black Baton and the street turned into a war zone. You do what you do best and start eliminating the threat. The terrorists have taken control of certain vantage points in nearby buildings, so you proceed to clear them. Thankfully, you have Leon on the comm link feeding you information and guidance. Your next task is to destroy their communication systems and eliminate the man in charge of it, Pavel Kravich. Pavel wears a bulletproof vest but gets acquainted with a bullet to the head, so his career comes to an irreversible halt. With Kravich gone, you pursue Rhoemer and Girdot down the subway station where you find a viral bomb. You take it for disarming and let CBDC do their thing.
Beacon set. Tell CBDC to get its guys down here.
Lian informs you that she located Rhoemer arming a second bomb on the lower level, so you hurry down to only find it being a decoy. This bomb does not contain the pathogen and is placed here as a cover for Rhoemer's escape. The moment you lay your eyes on it is the moment the timer reaches zero.
And it looks...
That's not viral. It's
too late.
As you try to run, the bomb goes off, causing ultimate destruction, turning the whole subway into a fiery ruin. Naturally, you survive, but are now forced to make your way out of this involuntary furnace and find the real viral bomb since this one was a decoy. Lian informs you that Rhoemer was seen making his way out of the main subway tunnel, so getting there is your priority. She also says that the same tunnel feeds into the Washington Park line, so your guess is that the park is where they've hidden the main viral bomb. She informs the agency of the development and Benton sends a team to the park led by an agent named Jenkins. Anyway, with bulletproof resolve and some help from C4, you manage to clear the way for the CBDC to access and disarm the tagged viral bomb in the ruined upper floor, and then make haste to the main line.
CBDC is on their way in.
As you exit these molten hallways, you see Mara Aramov running down the tunnel line, so you're forced to pursue. This begins the risky business of evading the trains while sprinting after her and fighting off other henchmen. This adrenaline-fueled stunt is brought to an end with Mara not being able to outrun your bullets. She drops to the ground, but you're unable to get any info out of her before she falls unconscious, so we leave her there for the agency to clean up. Meanwhile, it is confirmed that the fire enthusiast Anton Girdo is leading the park operation. Jenkins and his men were sadly taken out upon their arrival at Washington Park, and the CBDC are getting slaughtered again, so Benton needs you to help tag the multiple viral bombs hidden throughout the park and provide some cover fire. Amid this madness, Lian seems to have located the communications uplink dish Pavel Kravich was using.
Lian, connection's complete.
With it, she is able to triangulate the signal on another one of Black Batten's finest by the name of Jorge Marcos. Turns out he's Rhoemer's triggerman for the bombs, so he has to go ASAP. With Marcos gone, Lian is able to trace Anton Girdo. He set up camp in the Park Freedom Memorial, so you enter only to have your suspicions about the main viral bomb confirmed.
Gabriel Logan, always the optimist. Look around, Logan. This hall contains a mosaic depicting the entire history of your country's wars and aggression. We are about to make an addition to it.
I don't think so, Gerdu. It ends here.
This flame-wielding maniac has a makeshift super armor that's pretty much resistant to bullets, so you feed him a taste of his own medicine by shooting his fuel tank.
Gabe, are you alright?
He's finished, Lian.
As he dies a horrible flame-engulfing death, the CBDC take care of the main bomb while you stroll out with zero emotion. With the Washington attack stopped, Lian informs Markinson and yourself that certain compounds taken from the blood of Rhoemer's men match those extracted from the plants taken from the plantation in Costa Rica. The key thing about these compounds is that they were produced by a biomedical corporation named Pharcom, led by a man called Jonathan Fagan. Now, before we continue, let me just point out that this is one of those plot holes I mentioned. The beginning of the game told us that Rhoemer torched the whole plantation, so what they were growing there remains a mystery. Yet now Lian somehow has access to the plants from the very same plantation. And if this compound is something that helps the virus synthesis, why would the Black Batten terrorists have it in their blood? What's the point of that? Unless they serve as carriers for some reason. Maybe I'm missing something here, so enlighten me in the comments, but anyway, let's just roll with it and get back to the briefing. You instantly suspect Pharcom could be funding Rhoemer's mad endeavor, but Markinson says he had Pharcom previously investigated by none other than Benton. So, this is where it gets even more suspicious. Benton is the common denominator in both Ellis's death in Costa Rica and Jenkins and his team in the Washington Park. Both are botched operations under his supervision, along with the Pharcom investigation that yielded no results. Markinson says Benton has been placed on a leave at the moment, but agrees that there could be a solid connection between Pharcom and Black Batten. Lian then suggests you should infiltrate a reception Fagan is hosting in New York City and try to find as much information as you can. You waste no time and arrive at the reception with the intent of tailing Fagan. You plant a remote wire on him and go full sneak mode with an occasional headshot until Fagan stops at an exhibit. As you move closer, you see it's Benton, accompanied by a surprise guest, Mara Aramov, who never got apprehended by the agency, or even worse, was released. Your suspicion is confirmed as Benton is the leak, obviously. The very man who exposed Ellis and double-crossed Jenkins at the park. Anyway, to Fagan's surprise, Mara points the gun at him, demanding the location of the Syphon filter manufacturing lab. Now, this is the first time we hear the actual name of the virus, Syphon filter. It seems that the Black Batten was growing and providing Pharcom with the plants necessary for the creation of the virus, but was obviously kept in the dark on where it was actually produced. Mara also informs Fagan that the Black Batten doesn't work for him anymore, but is rather taking over the whole operation. This fact is quite interesting, and we'll get to it by the end. At the moment, Benton realizes Fagan has been wired. I don't know how, honestly, but who cares, so he tells Mara to get him out of there. Seeing as this will go down only one way, you make your presence known. This behavior prompts Benton's contract with the agency to be terminated effective immediately, enforced by a bullet to the head. The Pharcom security had been alerted to your presence now, so this sneak fest quickly turns into a mega shootout. I gotta say, I don't think anyone has ever killed this many people in a museum before, so after piling up an impressive number of corpses, you track Mara and Fagan to a dinosaur exhibit where she's holding him at a gunpoint. Your job now is to not let Fagan die since he has the lab info, and also not kill Mara since she is the only one who can disclose the location of Rhoemer's base. This sounds like a job for your good friend Taser, so you flank them and electrocute Mara into unconsciousness.
You have to the count of 10.
There goes Fagan. Is Mara still alive?
Yes.
This, however, gives Fagan a chance to escape before you can reach him, but at least he's alive. Back in the HQ, you and Lian report to Markinson, to which he unveils he knew Benton was the leak all along. Now, this cold bastard sacrificed both Ellis and Jenkins with his whole team and was ready to do the same to you, knowing very well what Benton was capable of, but need-to-know basis, I guess. This pretty much puts this whole agency business into proper perspective. Anyway, Fagan has disappeared and the agency has not yet cracked the location of the Syphon filter production lab. Mara, however, has given up the location of Rhoemer's base and the agency has managed to pinpoint its exact coordinates. It's an old Soviet compound in northern Kazakhstan. The issue with the base is that the satellite images unveiled the Black Baton stockpiling SS-23 ballistic missiles in large quantities. Your job is to get your ass over there and catalog all these bad boys before nuking the base. Also, the whole operation must not be traced back to the US government, so it's sneaky time again. Upon entry, the base is crawling with enemies, but luckily you're well trained in the art of headshots, so it shouldn't be a problem. As you move through the compound, you find these convenient fuel tanks that look like a perfect spot to place some C4, which will eventually vaporize the whole complex.
I've planted the first explosive.
The missile bunker is guarded by motion sensors, so you need to cut some wires before entering, which leads you to a confrontation with Rhoemer's chief of base security by the name of Vladislav Gabrek. You introduce him to a bit of gas, and another prominent Black Baton employee gets the early retirement treatment. Anyway, you find the bunker entrance, but despite your effort, the silent alarm is triggered and the whole base gets mobilized. You still have the SS-23 missiles to catalog before you leave, so sneaky time is over. The plan was for Lian to pick you up on the roof tower of the base, but she was spotted and came under heavy fire, so you get up and disable the anti-aircraft radar to allow her to land undetected. As you contact her, Rhoemer is the one to answer, with an iconic line.
Leon, I've triggered the timer and disabled the radar. I'm ready for pickup.
I read you. ETA 4. No, stop! No! Ah!
Dump her body.
Leon?
Rip out all of these controls.
Leon!
Logan, I'm afraid she won't be giving you a ride.
Rhoemer.
But don't worry. I was kind enough to send one of my choppers.
You were just forced to listen to your partner get killed, your closest confidant, the only person you could truly trust gone in an instant. Unfortunately, there's no time to mourn as the attack chopper Rhoemer sent swoops in, unleashing merciless bullet hail. Thankfully, you're equipped with the know-how on helicopter confrontation, so you take this metallic beast down. You inform Markinson about the recent development and he offers to pick you up at the main gate, but now you have only 10 minutes to get your ass to the evac point before the whole base is erased from the face of the planet. Once again, you prevail by barely making it. Some days later, Markinson informs you that they've managed to crack Pharcom data, and it turns out Syphon Filter is a genetically programmable virus. A weapon that could target specific demographics, ethnic groups, and wipe out whole continents except those chosen to survive. This is the very reason that one person survived, although everyone in a 100-mile radius died back when you were in Nepal. It was just a random person that wasn't targeted. The guess is also that Rhoemer intended to use the SS-23 missiles to distribute the virus accordingly, and viral outbreaks you've been tracking so far were just tests. The agency has also located and destroyed all the Pharcom production labs, but couldn't find the location where the actual DNA sequencing occurs. Meanwhile, Mara Aramov apparently escaped again and hid somewhere in Eastern Europe. But thankfully, the agency has located Fagan, who managed to get himself captured again and is being held at Rhoemer's stronghold in Ukraine, which is basically a repurposed cathedral and serves as a testing lab. Markinson takes you there himself and instructs you to apply a vaccine they've managed to produce on any test subjects you come across. All the Rhoemer's personnel are target practice, so you get to work. There's an insanely worrisome abundance of Pharcom and World Health Organization shipping containers here, indicating a colossal operation, but your priority is Fagan, so after some cultural enrichment through this beautiful, what I can only assume is Romanesque architecture, you find the basement with the holding cells. You overhear Rhoemer ordered the execution of all prisoners, so you tail one of the scientists all the way to Fagan's cell. The scientist is preparing to give Fagan a lethal injection, but you provide him with the early retirement.
Thank God.
Shut up, Fagan. Move.
Fagan gets all defensive on his involvement in the whole operation, but a death threat persuades him to give up the location of the gene sequencing computers. They're in an abandoned missile silo in a warehouse district in Kazakhstan. In light of this newfound knowledge, Markinson immediately sends a strike team to the location and orders you to evacuate Fagan, to which Fagan offers you a very intriguing deal. He claims your partner Lian is alive and being held at this very stronghold and offers to take you to her cell in exchange for his freedom. You believe nothing until you see it for yourself, so Fagan leads the way. You're both shocked and relieved to see Lian alive and unharmed, so you keep your word and let Fagan go. However, more complications arise as Lian tells you that she's been infected with Syphon filter. As you try to assure her you can administer the vaccine, she tells you that there is no universal vaccine as each DNA sequence is different, which means Markinson lied and you administered God knows what to those test subjects. You waste no time, but as you reach the exit, you are served the sight of Fagan getting his brains blown out by none other than our frequent getaway girl, Mara Aramov.
Mara.
We don't have much time.
This tense situation is quickly resolved by an unexpected turn of events as Mara claims Rhoemer must be stopped, else everyone will die. She then offers to take you to Kazakhstan to the very missile silo site. In lack of options, you accept, as it's your quickest way of getting there before the agency arrives and destroys the gene sequencing computers you now desperately need to save Lian. As you arrive at Pharcom warehouse district, you see it's a war zone down there, because in the meantime, Rhoemer arrived with his men, which resulted in a full-scale battle between Pharcom and Black Baton forces. Anyway, the mainframe you're after resides in a missile silo, which is only accessible through a series of abandoned mining tunnels underneath Warehouse 76. The first thing you do after being dropped is find this guy Richard Erickson, who's supposedly in charge of Pharcom's European operations, and threaten him into giving you the access codes to the silo computers.
Erickson, move.
Who are you? What do you want?
I'll ask the questions. I need the access codes to the silo mainframes. Now.
But I don't know.
I'm going to count to 3, then I pull the trigger.
But look,
1,
I don't know the codes.
2.
All right. Here it is. Please.
Stay here. If you move a muscle before I return, I'll take you out myself.
He bends easily so you can move forward. The warehouse is also full of stored dead bodies that serve as viral carriers and should be tagged for proper disposal. However, Markinson has gone silent since you left Ukraine. Things go even darker when you find the first viral carrier and Lian can't connect to the agency's computers anymore.
I'm trying to tap into NATO's spy satellite so I can get a fix on your position, but the agency computers must have crashed.
Don't worry. I've got it covered down here.
Your concern is elevated even further as you come across some shipping manifests for an R9 Devyatka, a 5-megaton 2-stage liquid-propelled nuclear missile with an effective range of 12,500 kilometers. This missile was retired back in 1977, but your experience with the SS-23s back in Rhoemer's base leaves you wondering whether this mastodon is a part of some greater plan for Syphon filter. As you progress through the complex, your headshot proclivities allow you to reach the final batch of viral carriers, and Lian manages to contact CBDC. However, it will take them a couple of hours to arrive, so you're still on your own. You explore further, and a few underground passages finally lead you to Warehouse 76, but these grenade enthusiasts manage to destroy some fuel tanks while trying to take you out, so the whole complex gets turned into a fire-engulfed hellscape. The situation gets more tense by the minute as you're still on communication blackout with the agency, so you suck it up and start searching for the entrance to the mines. Also, Lian reports that the vaccine Markinson gave you to inject the test subjects with, back in Rhoemer's stronghold, contained concentrated potassium chloride, so basically you were administering lethal injections. Markinson knowingly had you kill those people. Considering his past decisions, no surprise there, I guess, but it does leave you wondering what his agenda truly is. Anyway, more shootout ensues as the relentless fire devours everything in sight, but soon you locate the elevator in the back of the warehouse and start descending into the mining caves. Lian informs you that the agency is still cut off, but on the other hand, the Kazakhstan government is mobilizing ground forces because they think a civil war is breaking out here. Anyway, as the warehouse above you collapses, the elevator gets cut off and you fall down. Of course, you're Gabriel Logan, so a falling elevator isn't much of a threat. You emerge in the mining caves and are welcomed with a bullet sprays from Rhoemer's men. Additionally, some progress-stalling security lasers get in your way. Mara tells you that the only way through is to cut the power to the entire tunnel system, so as you reach the power room, you feel the best course of action is to overload the generator, which results in more massive explosions and a complete power outage. By now, it is clear that the facility-scale explosions are no match for you, so you use the blackout to your advantage and make it to the silo entrance.
Leon, I found the elevator down to the silo. See if we have any Soviet blueprints online. I want to know where I'm going once I get in there.
Our 9 silos were comprised of 3 levels. There should be a launch computer on level 1 near the elevator.
Copy. I'm on my way down.
You take the elevator down, and as the doors open, lo and behold, the silo isn't abandoned after all. There's a fully armed R9 Devyatka sitting there ready to launch, with the countdown in progress and everything. The code you obtained from Ericsson won't give you access to the launch sequence computer, so Lian tells you to drop down to the lower level of the silo and obtain the self-destruct code from the fuselage of the rocket. You do so, and as you drop down, Markinson shows up.
Markinson.
Well, surprise, surprise. Now we know how Mara Aramov was escaping the agency's grasp all the time. Anyway, this cocky bastard is actually proud of you and pleased you made it here. To your surprise, he asks you where Rhoemer is, to which you ask for how long has Rhoemer been working for him. Markinson explains how he did some of his own digging after you discovered the connection between Pharcom and Black Baton and decided that he wanted Syphon filter in the hands of the agency. As you ask about the purpose of the Devyatka missile, Markinson's head gets blown off by the man of the hour, Rhoemer. He says the missile was his idea and Markinson actually came here to stop the launch. That's the reason he was satisfied you made it here. Hell, he even counted on it. Markinson just wanted the virus in the hands of the agency. Naturally, Rhoemer had other plans. You ask who the target is, to which Rhoemer replies that it doesn't matter, as it's too late to stop it now anyhow. Rhoemer leaves and you barely make it through the blast doors before getting incinerated by the rocket launch. Lian tells you that Rhoemer's plan is very likely the instigation of World War III, meaning the impact of Devyatka hitting its target would have global consequences. Seeing as Devyatka is already airborne, you waste no time and reach the mainframe. With seconds to spare, you initiate the self-destruct sequence and save the day. You also download the gene sequence to save Lian, but as you do, a voice from behind creeps on you.
I'm downloading the virus information now. I'm ready for pickup.
Don't you know when to quit, Logan? We'd have made a great team.
I don't think so.
Rhoemer starts rocking the place with an M79, forcing you into tumbling gymnastics. Luckily, there's a crate of gas grenades standing nearby, so we introduce Rhoemer to a quite uncomfortable passing.
Logan! Logan!
Right about this time, the CBDC arrived to contain the viral carriers, and the agency also decides to finally show. Mara Aramov gets apprehended, but you are left with more questions than answers now. Who was the mysterious figure Markinson spoke to in the beginning of the game? What was Pharcom's true intention with Syphon Filter? Were they maybe contracted by someone even more powerful? Pharcom obviously used Black Baton for farming the compound needed for Syphon Filter production, but what made Rhoemer hijack the operation other than sheer need for chaos? Was it his plan all along? What's the World Health Organization involvement in this whole deal and to what extent? Why did Mara Aramov go against Rhoemer in the end? Was his plan too much for her, or was there another agenda? Well, the answer to those questions may just lie in the post-credit cutscene where we see Mara Aramov in the agency office whispering something to a mysterious person while Pharcom boxes are stacked behind them. The man congratulates her on a job well done, and we can only assume she was a failsafe for Markinson's plan to recover the virus for the agency. But let's see if we can get the answers in the sequel, so stay tuned, and in the meantime don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your support and see you in the next one. Cheers!